What up, YouTubers? On this one, just chucking solar panel on my Land Rover. I've been meaning to do it for a while. I've had like a crappy one in the back window, but it's no good. So I've got a load of them 319 volt. I know they're high voltage, but them Fuji ones are quite cheap at the minute to get hold of. So because they're too long, I cut them down. I did the same thing on my Transit. So what I've done is I've cut a section off. There's this section which I've cut off. You have like 4 of these in a full row. So I've just cut it off there. And if you can see, that's how they connect on the back to each section. So you've got a row of them two next to each other to make one panel. And then they're connected with these little tabs through to the next one. And they're just all put in this plastic. So if I just show you on roof, see there's like 3 sections. So I've cut the back section off. So what I've had to do is, if you look underneath there, I've just got the tabs and soldered a wire to them. You don't have to do all of them, you can just do the 2 here, but I've just done all of them just in case. So they're on, and I've just put a bit of sealant on them. That's sticker flex stuff. Drilled an hole in there, so that's one side. I've just in the ribs here, I've got some foam, some double-sided foam, so I've done that in them 2 sections there and put some heavy duty double-sided tape in 3 lines down there, and I am going to get some black sticker flex and go all the way around it, same as what I did on my Transit. Just show you at the front there. So that wire's coming through there anyway, so I'm going to thread that through once it's done. On the front over here, just got a hole in there, so you can see like I've got like 3 pieces of double-sided tape there just to hold it while the sticker flex it. So I'll get that on, and that'll be just under 300 volts. So then you use like a switch mode power supply, same as what I've done on my Transit again, to reduce it down to about just below 14 volts, and then I can connect it to my split charger. So that's what I'm on with at the minute. So that's it, got it all stuck down with Sicko Flex. All wires are going through. It's good stuff, that ain't going nowhere, that. It's like that caravan adhesive stuff. And then I've got the front wire going through there, that's the positive. So I've got to thread that through the headline into the back. It's all stuck nicely. And I've got the back wire, the negative, going through the back there. I've got to thread that through, and then put all the switch mode power supply and charger in there. I've got an inverter in there and everything as well, and all my amps, so get on with that. So I've got all the wires threaded through, and that's my switch mode power supply which I'll be using. So I'll just be connecting these 2 from the solar panel into that. But first I'm gonna, even though it's not sunny, I'm gonna back it in my unit because they'll get electrocuted otherwise. Even though it's only very, very low, like milliamps, you still get a nice belt off it. So I'll do that, connect it up to this. So I've just got one of these cheap solar controllers. 12 volt job is eBay Chinese special. Cheap and nasty, but it'll do for in here because I'm only having minimal stuff in here anyway. So they're just like controlled through pulse width modulation, so they're not too bad. So that'll do for in here. So I'll wire that up after that, and then wire that to the secondary battery. It's already got a split charger on it, so it should kick in when there's enough voltage to charge both batteries. So I've just wired the solar panel straight into the switch mode power supply, and the fan's cut in and the LED's on, and it's absolutely dead dark. So it's getting power. So I'll get the controller connected up to that now and see if it supplies any ampage and voltage. So I thought I'd fit a thermostatic switch for the fan because it's on all the time. So I just got a few of these little cheapo thermostatic switches, and then I've just put it in series with a fan. I was going to do, you know, like a different way of doing it, but I thought this is the easiest way, so I've just chucked that in. I'm going to mount it properly. It's just I want to do some wiring with this controller, so I'm going to put it on top of the lid, but I'm just going to solder directly underneath, and I want to put a better heat sink on that because it's not the best. So yeah, I just incorporated that on top of this and then wire it all up. I want to put a couple of diodes in it, you see, because I want to have it, you know, like charging a couple of batteries at the same time and another few components in there. So I'll get on with that. So that's all done. So basically, I've wired it so the wires are actually going through into it, and there's a few components I've installed inside the power supply as well. So all I've got to really do is put the solar, connect the solar positive and negative to them two terminals, and then I've got these two terminals coming out. I've got one for the main battery and one for the auxiliary battery, and I've just got to take the earth off here to the vehicle, and that's it basically. It's got its own little split charger in it, and it's got the controller, the pulse width modulator through this, and that's it, all self-contained. So I just got to chuck that back in the vehicle. So I've just installed it. I've put it up there so it keeps cool. I didn't want to put it in here just in case it gets a bit too hot, because it'll be on all the time, you see. So it is very dark and raining at the minute, and it's still enough power to power the switch mode power supply. I've got it all wired up to both batteries. Like I say, I've made a split charger actually in this, even though I've got one in the vehicle. I've done it so this will constantly charge both batteries, a lower ampage on the main battery and more ampage on the auxiliary battery. So we're still getting a bit of a charge going even in low daylight. That's all good. I've kept it separate from everything in here. So I've just got the inverter and the amps and the big bass bins separate, and all my tools in the bottom there. So yeah, she's working nicely. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to put a switch and like a kettle plug, so I can put it in a little box here, and if the batteries ever run low I can just plug in the kettle lead and flick the switch and plug it into the mains, and then it'll charge both the batteries up. So yeah, I'm chuffed with that. Works quite well, that. Like, it's about 100 watts on the size of that, so I'll keep them nicely topped up. Just got both the batteries underneath the passenger seat. Like I say, I've got this other split charger, but I wanted to keep it separate, the split charger in the system that I've made, just so it trickles the actual starter battery on a lower ampage, and then it charges the auxiliary at its normal rate. But when the sun gets really high anyway, the actual solenoid for the split charger in the vehicle trips in anyway. So but it's just that winter time, if there's not enough sun, I want it to keep trickling the starter motor battery as well, because it's in winter when I'm testing ECUs all the time, it tends to get flat. So cost wise, I ended up getting this panel off eBay. That was 30 quid delivered. And then the switch mode power supply, that was 13 quid. And controller for the solar, that was 7 quid. I already had the diodes and that, what I've put in it. There's only a few diodes and other components I'm put in. So really it's 50 quid jobby, innit? So yeah, I'm chuffed with that. So I can just use my inverter when I want without worrying now, and it'll charge it back up. So yeah, happy days.